All right, artists, this is a tutorial on how to use cones, that cone design that we learned how to do with the paper folding, to help you with making your mask and doing different parts of that. So just as a refresher, remember the way that we were doing the cone trick before was by starting off with kind of a circular shape, cutting roughly into the middle, and then just folding them over each other. Best way to glue, but you can also do that tape trick that I showed you in the other video. So if you didn't watch the getting started video, watch that because it shows you what you can do to tape this in a way that the flat part doesn't stick up on you. Now, this does not just have to work with circular shapes. You could turn this into other shapes and it would still have the same effect of giving you that rounded thing, like we showed with the mask part, making that chin and then the corners. So you could actually use this if you were trying to make maybe like a nose on your creature. Maybe you want a nose that's kind of similar to a dog nose. So I'll show you that real quick. Tiny bit of glue on that one, tiny bit of glue there. And again, small amount of glue, pinch it really good, hold it, count to like 20 or so, and you'll have it. You could leave just the circle. These circles will make really good, like if you want to make like an eye that's sticking out, kind of like a chameleon. If you pull it even tighter, you can make a horn, like a unicorn horn, things like that. So now that I got that, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to give it a little fold in half while that glue is still holding. And I'm going to trim it into kind of like a nose shape, which you want to treat almost like kind of like you were doing a heart shape. But then when you get around towards the bottom, do a little bit of a curve instead, like an extra curve. When you unfold it and straighten out that fold a little bit, get a little wrinkle, that will give you more of a little nose shape. So we're back to our mask again. You can pop that right on there. It kind of looks like a bear now, actually. Like a little bear nose. Ta-da. So that's one good way to use the cone idea. Another good way is instead of using it as a cone, we're actually going to reverse it and use the other side. And this is really good for making ears and curved type ears. Now, instead of just cutting out a couple of triangles and sticking them on your head, I'm going to show you something a little better. I'm going to show you a type of ear, kind of similar to my headphones, where you have the inside part of the ear and the outside area. So on any cat or dog, usually the inside part of the ear is a slightly different color. So I'm going to use this kind of peachy color for the inside of the ear and this yellow for the outside. So the first thing I'm going to do with that is I'm going to fold it in half, already done, because I want to make two ears and I want them to match. So what I'll do is I will cut out my shape for my ear for the inside part of the ear. Oop, save the scraps. So now I have two identical triangle pieces. I'm going to keep one of them to the side for now. I'm just going to work with this one. And again, fold your paper in half. And I'm actually going to just go ahead and put a little bit of glue on here. Just a tiny bit around the edge so I can glue it to my paper. And as always, it only takes a couple seconds to get it to be dry enough to hold it in place. Now, you can do the next step with just this one glued on, and you can glue the other one on later. But if you trust yourself enough, save you some time, you want to make sure that these two are in the same position. So you want to put them together, kind of like this. And this is going to glue on the back side of the folded piece. And you can kind of look from the top to make sure that you line up the corners with each other. And I'm just going to hold that and lift it up. So again, you can wait till the end, but this is me wanting to save time so that I don't have to try and find the right spot with it later. And as long as you've got them lined up with each other, any kind of cutting out you do won't hurt one of them. So now we're going to do the outside part of the ear. And I'm going to draw on this really quick just so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. You're going to be making the outside edge of the ear. And let's say you want to make it look a little bit fuzzy, like you want to add a little fur idea to it. Instead of just going straight down on the bottom edge of the ear, you can add little triangle poofs. And now we're going to cut them out. And how about that? 2 matching ears. So now that we got our flat ears, now we're going to go ahead and use this cone type trick to make them a little bit more rounded, a little more realistic-ish. I'm going to put them back to back again because I want them to match still. And this time I'm going to cut into the middle of the ear, not too far, just a little ways in. Grab the 2 ends, and just like I was doing a cone, I'm going to fold them over each other. It'll be a little tougher since you've got 2 layers of paper, but it should still work. And you only need to go a little bit, but instead of having a boring flat ear, when you pull that in, you now have a curving ear. So put a little bit of glue on that. Not too much, please and thank you. Now this is part of the reason why you want to put the 2 pieces together before you do that cut, because it's really hard to fit the inside part of the ear inside of it once you've already cut the outside part, and backwards as well. If you do the inside ear, it's hard to make that part of the ear fit to it. Use my leftover glue on the other one. A little bit of a fold, try to get them to match, pinch and hold. So once those are ready, then you can take your mask, and depending on where you want them, you can attach them wherever you like, whether you want them at the top, whether you want them more toward the side, it's up to you. And you can glue them onto the back, you can glue them onto the front, and the curve will really help with that to give it a nice flat area to curve or to glue down. So that's how you can add some pointy ears and a nose. I don't know what this creature is, but he's looking kind of cool, so I'm digging it. And there you go. Check out the other tutorials though to get some of the other features we're going to talk about, but this was a good way for you to be able to use that cone trick in order to add a little more 3 dimension to your mask.